Okay, and we're back up. Just had a little bit of a technical difficulty. Had my mic muted through that match, but at least there was no map up on the screen. So speaking of maps, my Advanced Tactical Center window is being a pain in the ass. So I'm just gonna come up with a quick
And
other
I was
solution.
muted the whole time. You were muted? I was just talking about what happened on the during the match. If you guys can bring up Smurfy, this is probably the best way. I'll just have to say it through grid squares, but it was on Forest Colony Snow. So you can go to mwo.smurfynet.de maps
It's gonna
and
come up
select.
on screen in a second. I'm just gonna pull it up.
Okay, just
Cool.
tell me when.
Okay. I'm doing this in the most convoluted way possible because Advanced Tactical Center was not working with my Twitch. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I think I'm going to do something else. Go ahead and keep talking.
All right. Well, for everyone who has brought up Forest Colony Snow on Smurfy, well, you had SJR spawning on Sigma's side. They were the red team, I believe, and Seraphim spawning on the Gamma side, blue team. So SJR was in C2, Seraphim was in D5. On Forest Colony Snow, you have basically three options you could do, and they're mainly controlled by SJR by virtue of spawn positioning. So what they could have done, SJR could have either pushed through boat and wrapped around Seraphim by going from C2 past boat into E4 and then through D4, or they could have taken Antenna Hill, which would have been in B3, and just played a long range game. Which, since that was a bit of a heavier drop deck for the RHoD rule set, is pretty viable. Heavier mechs tend to deal with long range better, have the ability to do long range better than the lighter weight mechs. Or what happened in this game was you just had both teams basically brawl push to each other over the contention of data. Now, for RHoD, it's not, even though it's on Conquest, it's not using a normal Conquest rule set. They're trying to do kind of a King of the Hill style of game mode, where you can only cap data. Data would be the point of contention. Oh, they're launching already. Carp
Oh, well, that
for
was
the
quick.
next game.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's pick our person here. They haven't loaded in yet because I can't jump in yet.
Yeah, Magician just poked me saying launching. Sorry about that, guys. I mean, I know the analysis was not there, but
We'll catch up to that.
yeah, might have time for it later, depending on how long the games last.
Okay.
All right, for the second drop, we're going to be on River City Night, so it might be a bit hard to see things. Sorry, but 450 drop tonnage, River City Night for the next game.
Okay, here we go. With audio.
Oh, yeah,
Doing it
with
right.
audio.
Doing it right.
450 is a tonnage drop that can have a variety, or a rather large variety in the drop disk can take. So it'll be pretty interesting seeing what both teams have brought.
And they're just loading in.
Yep.
Here we go. There we are. And we're off.
We have Seraphim in blue and SJR in red. It looks like Seraphim has brought kind of a longer range deck with two Raven 2Xs. They're not looking to brawl, which on River City is a bit of an interesting choice. I'm kind of curious what their strategy will be here. They have one Timberwolf, two Timberwolves, two Stormcrows, and a Hellbringer for ECM.
On the SJR side, we have 3 Firestarter 9Ss. They're one spreading out over into Upper City, and the other 2 are moving towards the Theta Cap Point. And then they're backed up on top of the airport with a Hellbringer, 3 Timberwolves, and a Stormcrow.
Seraphim using their long range drop deck effectively, poking out the Timberwolves on SJR side and the Hellbringer. SJR has brought 3 Timberwolves, 1 Hellbringer, 1 Stormcrow, and 3 Firestarters. Looks like Tweakit's just moving up in his Firestarter, trying to get some scouting information. Though I think it's pretty obviously they're all contested in the city at this point. And right now it's just a long range trade fight.
Okay, I'm going to jump into Carnage's cockpit here to give you a first person view.
trading is somewhat important in the MWO competitive scene because
Target
generally during a
acquired.
brawl, it can be a bit random. And you don't want to make a brawl push where you aren't certain that you'll be able to achieve a swift victory. Because when you're brawling, you're putting your mech in just as much danger as the enemy mechs due to the ranges involved.
So
G-Man has taken a bit heavy damage in this Timberwolf. I'm not sure what the percent, or 75%. I'm not sure that's all in his dead arm. But Seraphim's already pushing up into the upper base.
So it looks like SJR has moved down into lower. They're trading places now with Seraphim going up and SJR dropping down. So this is a little bit of tail chase, and Echo Timberwolf is getting jumped all over right now.
And
That's Mad Edge.
0%.
He will most likely die here, or at least take heavy damage. Yeah, then
he's got legged.
Target destroyed.
Yeah.
New target.
So what are the
acquired.
overall health here? G-Man's dropping fast. He's at 60%,
New target
55.
G-Man's leading the push here, but the rest of SJR has not exactly followed up in the swiftest manner. And looks like Gunman will drop here as well. And legged and dead.
New target.
Seraphim's holding the line pretty well here, but the fire starters from SJR side are looking
New
to pop
target
into the side.
acquired.
Seraphim's going to get pincered here in a moment. However, Soul from Stormcrow from SJR is heavily
Target
damaged, just
destroyed.
lost both arms.
New target
Means he only has his
acquired.
torso lasers left, which is 2.
Heat level critical. New target acquired.
See, the
Tony's
Hellbringer
fine,
here is
Seraphim.
not even taken down yet, but he's
New
got the Jaeger
target
12's got an open
acquired.
left torso, and they
Heat
haven't
level
finished off
critical.
that torso to get the ECM down for their team.
New target
And most of the weapons on the
acquired.
Hellbringer is heavily left side biased. Ooh,
Left
Mech just
torso
dropped on
critical.
SJR side. I'm not sure what though.
3 left alive on the Seraphim side with only 1 death on the SJR side. And
Heat
looks
level
like it's
critical.
just going to be a
New
pretty
target
landslide here.
acquired.
Yeah.
Target destroyed. Heat level
Wolf
Where's our
critical.
last guy?
Target
Seraphim
acquired.
and
Target destroyed.
That's it.
Wolverine can't really carry a match at that point. That was a rather clean fight by SJR side. I mean, normally when you're rotating down like that, it's something that conventionally, like when you just think about it on paper, it doesn't make much sense because you're giving up the high ground for the low ground. But by Mad Edge's Timberwolf being down there, SJR was just able to swarm him, and taking out Timberwolf, especially in this drop weight, that's a lot of firepower. That was a really good pick that possibly won the game for them.
So I took a quick screenshot of the damage numbers here. Just
It's good to have.
gonna pull that up right now. Just cropping it. Fit it onto the screen. This is drop 2.
I think I'd like to point out that Soul was able to tank down at 34% in the Stormcrow, which is pretty good in a competitive match. Normally, you're not able to tank down that much. 34% is definitely a good indicator of the pot skill.
Sorry, my saving folder here. Saving skills are a little slow. Drop 2. Here we go. SJR Seraphim drop 2. Just gonna switch to the other overlay.
So we still have to use Smurfy to just analyze these things.
We're gonna use the Smurfy map for now. If you want to
Okay.
link it in chat there, and we can just talk them through.
Yep. Say 9. All right. Well, on this map previously tonight, we had SJR spawning in B4 and Seraphim in D2. So SJR was Gamma, Seraphim was Epsilon. Seraphim did a pretty routine start here, pushing across the right side, getting behind Citadel, and sticking around D4. A pretty conventional move set. You basically have 2 options on Seraphim's side. You can go up in the upper city into B2, a bit riskier play, or you can go right into D4, which is the safer one. B2, you're able to pressure the map a bit more. D4, you're just not going to take as much damage as you're crossing over, so most teams opt for going behind Citadel to D4. SJR, however, just kind of took the ballsy play and pushed right down the middle into C3 with their light mechs, scouted out where Seraphim was, and then played a pretty conventional game in routing the D4 area, where they pushed over where SJR pushed over into C4, went around on Smurf's perspective, which would have been the left side of the C4 D3 corner where they meet, and making kind of a curve into Seraphim's push from D4 into C4.
So right
It
now,
looked like Seraphim was trying to rotate into upper base. Well, they did rotate into upper base. But during the process, one of their Timberwolves was left behind on the ramp, which is in B5, into the upper base section. And he died rather quickly as SJR just all hopped down and swarmed him. Not sure what happened there. Maybe could have gotten caught on a building or something, but losing a Timberwolf that early, that's a lot of your firepower. And it definitely would have made the match a lot harder for Seraphim, no matter how it went.
well, that lane that they were going up in Delta One was just sort of a tight lane. You're pretty much stuck to single file when you're running no jump jets. So whoever's at the tail end there just got boned because now you're getting slowed down on that uphill trying to get up to the top, and that's where he got legged. Just as he was Mad Edge got legged just as he reached the top there of the middle of the ramp, and they just finished him off and continued the push, got the high ground on that D1 hill, and that was pretty much it. You know, the Hellbringer not losing his ECM was pretty key, I think, for blocking Seraphim's ability to call targets too.
Yeah, they had a UAV up. Well, I'm not sure what side that belonged to, but they did have one. I'm assuming that was SJR's UAV. So they would have been able to see the what's it called? Target designations. But even then, I mean, you're not going to have full coverage from the UAV constantly. It's not that large of a range.
So
with Jaeger's ECM being up on the entire time, it definitely caused some issues.
So I've got the damage numbers up here from the drop, and you can see actually, if you look at the Seraphim numbers, they actually did quite well. That probably a lot of that damage came from the early trades. I mean, Mad Edge, even though he died first, managed to get 2 kills, and I mean that's going down swinging. That's a pure definition of that. So that's not bad. I guess those early kills were in the beginning. I didn't catch who went down first. I guess it was one of the lights, maybe, or a couple of the lights.
I know they had one light down. I'm not sure who died, but one light was definitely off from SJR's side.
Everything happens so fast that it's hard to keep track of everything.
What I think might have happened here is that Seraphim was forced into a situation they didn't necessarily want, because they brought a bit of a longer range drop deck. Normally on River City, you're going to be bringing fire starters instead of Raven 2Xs, because it's much easier to brawl on this map than it is to do a long range poke. But Seraphim brought the Raven 2Xs, which are with large laser perks. They have a reduction in beam duration, and I believe cooldown. They fire quite fast, and you don't really need a whole target for that long due to the lack of beam duration. Seraphim definitely was able to poke out SJR heavily. I think it was G-Man who was 75% early on, just from the poke from Seraphim. But Seraphim wasn't able to poke long enough for it to make much of a difference. So SJR definitely responded appropriately there and pushed them fast and quick, which is how you take down a long range drop deck.
Just trying to see if I can get this Smurfy map up here in the meantime. Our next drop, while we're talking, is 400 tons on Caustic Valley. So, hot map. It's going to be a fight over the center, and let me just double check that. Make sure I got that right.
Yes, it is.
It is over the center. Yeah.
Caustic Valley 400.
So, here I don't really see anybody really going for the center. It's just way too risky. You get caught in the middle there, you're toast. So we're going to see a lot of trading either around the caldera, I think, or we might see them set up on a ridge. And there's a couple of good spots here if one team wants to play a bit of a standoff. So what do you think is going to happen?
Well, I'm not sure which side is going to spawn where. SJR or Seraphim's team 1, right? Yes, they are. So Seraphim should be spawning on Gamma side, E2, and SJR in C6 on Epsilon side. Should be, I believe. Unless
I'm just pulling it up here just to make sure.
Okay. Assuming Seraphim brings along a drop deck again, I can't talk. Which on Caustic Valley is definitely viable. They could really just sit where they spawn. It's not necessarily a bad decision. It's a hard area to approach. If they just move from E2 into D2, they could just sit there and poke all day long And as the SJR tries to push in, it will probably not go that well, assuming Seraphim is able to get the proper pokes out. D2 is a heavily defensible area because there are, since it's a hill, most mechs, especially nowadays, have a better time hill peeking instead of corner peeking. And D2 has so many hills that you could set up basically all of your mechs in that area, even though it's just one grid square, and they all will have lanes of fire. Meanwhile, on SJR side in C5, they don't really have that capability. The best they'll be able to do is go into D3 in the middle of the caldera, where it's quite a bit hotter than it is around the other areas of the map, so they won't be able to fire as much. But at the same time, D2 has enough protective spots to where there aren't as many firing lines for SJR to get shots in, assuming Seraphim sits in D2.
Let's drop that match score. Okay, I'm just gonna monitor. I've got a copy to here, and I'm just gonna scale it down.
Okay.
So just did a monitor capture, kind of made it easy.
Yeah.
So there we go. So Seraphim, if you Seraphim's going to start where Gamma is on the bottom left corner. So they're going to have most likely Delta 2, Echo 2 set up. And then SJR will have the east side of the map. So what I think could happen here is Seraphim will take that 2-line ridge and post up with some long range. And what SJR could do at that point is just grab Kappa and set up at the lip of the caldera and just basically punish them. Either that or they're going to end up on opposite sides of the caldera trying to prevent the other from being able to take Kappa eventually as the map goes. We'll have to see. The other common area of engagement here you could look at is along the Delta 5 ridge. There's a bit of a ridge where you've got the ability to set up a firing line and punish the other team that either pokes around the corner from the caldera or you can set up a low ground firing line and hit them as they try to poke over that ridge. So that could be another source of engagement.
SJR also does have better control of the caldera from this side, I feel. Since going into D5, there's a bit of a crevice there where they could just roll up a max all in line with each other. Whereas Seraphim, they don't really have that capability because they'll have to cross over the lip of the caldera to get in. Ignoring D2 though, let's assuming Seraphim does not go there. SJR actually arguably does have better peaking side from D5. And just thinking about this a bit, the D5, D6, it's much like D2 in that you can set up various like your basically whole line there with all your mechs just set up to peak, but they don't really have as much firing opportunity. It's a difficult area to work with. Though what I'm expecting to see from SJR is just rotating around into C3, so which would be on from their perspective, they'll be rotating right, and most mechs are right side asym, so they'll have a better time peaking from the right. This is generally what you're going to see happening in puck play a lot, but it's still an option in competitive play. You just won't be able to bulldoze your way through like you normally are in a puck match.
Yeah, I've seen SJR set up down here close to the lake and just basically set up a firing line for any teams trying to come around the ridge, or around the edge of the caldera. And that certainly is effective. You do put yourself out there in the open with little cover, but what you're trying to do is punish the mechs for peaking. So that's one way they could play it. And with 400 tons, I mean, you're definitely going to see some lights in there. We've been seeing a Hellbringer out of SJR the first 2 drops, so I'm positive we're going to see another Hellbringer again, because that ECM is just super, super valuable.
Yeah, they definitely seem to favor the Hellbringer. It's not a bad mech in of itself, too. It's probably, I'd say, the 4th best clan mech. Definitely up there.
Yeah, you can left side load it, right? So I mean, the Hellbringer is great for you can pop a mix of ER large or a large pulse and mediums. You can go straight 6 mediums. You can go with a medium pulse. Bit greedy on this map for the heat, but I think they've been using a lot of Gauss SJR. I've been noticed all their Timberwolves were Gauss and 5 mediums. So I'd imagine on this map they'll probably do Gauss and 4 mediums on their Hellbringers, is my guess.
Yeah, I would agree there. The conventional laser vomit is definitely not... Well, conventional laser vomit's not that strong to begin with, compared to Gauss. Oh, Magicians, they're about to launch already. They're popping these matches out quick, aren't they?
Yeah, they're well, there's not really a lot of changes. I mean, it's when an unrestricted meta like this allows you to make pretty small changes between matches. Okay,
Yep.
I am flipping windows here. Here we go.
Score is currently 2-0 in favor of SJR, by the way. And so this could be actually a game or a series match. At this point, SJR just needs to win this one, and then they win the series under the RHoD best of 5 rule set. Or Seraphim, if they win this, it could go to a 4th or 5th match. All right, we have SJR on the red team and Seraphim on the blue team. Lots of Stormcrawls on SJR side, which is, honestly, kind of what you expect. It looks like they're going for a longer range deck here with 2 Raven, 3 Elves, and 6 Stormcrows. Meanwhile, on Seraphim side, Stormcrows again.
With a couple of Wolverines, or yep, a couple of Wolverines in there. So you gotta watch those. They gotta protect those arms, and they're going right. They're both going right to the Caldera lip, and they're gonna fight from opposite sides to prevent. Oh no, they actually made a play right inside.
There's a streak crow, so those lights are gonna die quickly. Oh, there are 2 streak crows on the other side. Oh, they both got streaks. All right. Don't you love the meta nowadays?
Okay, well, Wonka just went down as I was trying to toggle in here, so Seraphim is down 1 already. We've got a Magician's leg. Magician just went down. It's 1-1. 2-1 now. This is gonna be fast, ridiculously fast. So we're seeing the Street Crows here.
Yeah, they're just eliminating this mix quickly.
New target acquired.
So SJR decided to go all-in streak, and Seraphim is. I'm just gonna flip through here.
Gloria's leg on the Stormcrow at 70%. She's gonna
New
go that
target
quick.
acquired.
Poking her all day long. Yeah, because Gloria's going down.
Yeah, those builds are
New target
really hot.
acquired.
Ugh.
That is really hot.
It's looking like a Seraphim victory at this point. Chicken Toothpaste in the Wolverines is able to get so much damage out. He's effectively ignored it.
New target
Those 3
acquired.
large laser Wolverines hurt, especially
Heat
with
level
their not bright
critical.
arm.
Yeah. And Bravo in Tony's Prime is getting his legs picked apart
Target
here by the
acquired.
Ravens.
New target
I'm
There's still
acquired.
2 fire starters up somehow.
Light
Streak,
critical
all these streaks on
damage.
Seraphim
Heat
side.
level
He's
critical.
about to go take out T-Fun. T-Fun's leg.
Torso critical
And,
damage. Heat
left leg's
level
about to go.
critical. Left leg destroyed.
Oh, it's right,
Heat
Farm's got
level
leg.
critical.
Not for taking out
Heat
T-Fun, and
level
that's just legal
critical.
department left in his Raven. A Raven is not going to win that fight against a Firestarter.
Wow. Well, but Mad Edge's Firestarter is almost legged, and he's got crit
level
back
critical.
torsos, side torsos.
Illegal might be able to
Left leg destroyed.
can't see it.
And
Right
SJR is
critical
down 2.
damage.
Might be only down by 1 after this, but we'll see. Yep, down by 1. Okay. So
Target
SJR is
acquired.
rallying.
New target
Depends what Grey
acquired.
Fox is able to do. Grey Fox is still 82%, but it is a Raven. It's not going
What-
to have the best tank.
One of the Wolverines is weaponless, so it's essentially an even fight now.
Oh, actually, I just noticed
Right
that.
leg critical
Yep.
damage. New target
It's actually
acquired.
Depends if this match really
Left
relies on
leg
Phillips.
destroyed. Heat level critical.
Yeah, he's like, oh,
Well, that's a 1-for-1 trade, but let's see who's the one that's left alive. Here we go. No large lasers on the Wolverine. Chicken Toothpaste, he's pretty good shape, so this looks like it might go Seraphim's way because the Raven's on the run. Let's see what Grey Fox's situation is.
if Grey Fox gets some range on this, he could definitely pull this out, and that looks like exactly like what he's doing. That Raven still has ECM.
He's trying to kite, yeah. See, and there was SJR going for that ECM again in the 3Ls, despite the fact that the 2X is superior with the large laser build.
New target acquired.
This is not, he needs more distance.
UAV activated.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
He should be going to those back hills over here.
Grey Fox just
I'd
popped a
say-
UAV so we can see their movement.
New target acquired.
Yeah.
Well, Grey Fox is definitely using these hills well to
Oh wait, so that Wolverine does have his weapon still. Okay, so it's a Wolverine. That's why he's. I thought it was a light that he was running from. I'm
No.
first.
Oh, he just doubled back. They didn't notice though.
No, but they saw it. But he's almost got that left leg.
Once he gets a leg off.
Yeah,
he
then
just-
that's it. Oh. It's pretty exciting actually,
New
just
target
watching this
acquired.
survival kite.
Cockpit, dude.
Left leg
Oh,
critical
hard
damage.
luck. Those rocks really fucked him up.
Yeah, Yeah, the Raven does not have the best
Oh.
movement over rocks.
Ouch. Almost. And he
Again,
got him
he's
legged,
not-
but both of his
Deactivated.
legs are.
Yeah, this.
The other Wolverine's just spotting. He's just basically trying to follow him as much as possible, which is all you can do, right? Is you're either a roadblock or you're a
New
spotter,
target acquired.
and he's a
Normally-
roadblock now.
Some people put medium lasers and extra hardpoints on the Wolverines. You can either opt for that or extra heat sinks. But I think this shows a case where those medium lasers would actually be really useful.
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't stick around too long. That Wolverine is making his way over.
He's just sitting in the open. And
Yeah.
Right leg critical.
Great
Could
Fire
use him as a shield right now and have him team kill. This can go either way. Oh.
Got it.
Oh, too much poke.
Yeah. Good performance out of Grey Fox. I mean, well, he got caught up on the hills over on the north end of the map, and that really, he did a lot of late game.
Wow, yeah. That really screwed him. It was that mobility.
Mobility
The
is
freaking
super
terrain, man. Oh. Well, you as a light pilot, why don't you talk about terrain here while I screenshot this damage report?
Raven doesn't have JJs, or the 3L specifically doesn't have jump jets, and jump jets are that's your entire mobility as a light mech. It's why Ravens are considered tanky, like a Firestarter is, or well, that in combination with hitboxes, or why it dies even faster than a Jenner. Those legs, since you can't really vary your movement with them, you can't. The way you would dodge fire for your legs in a light mech generally relies on you using your JJs and just JJing in the air and mashing around A and D, trying to move your legs around and spread some damage. But a Raven can't do that because if it just uses A and D to move around, it will be going left and right. It won't be going in a straight line trajectory like it would if you had jump jets going. So since the Raven doesn't have the capability to tank it all, and its movement profile does not lead itself to climbing hills well, I mean, you're going to get caught on hills eventually, especially in Caustic, where they can be fairly steep incline, depending on the location of the map. And once you get caught, you take one burn to your leg. I mean, it's just a light pack. It doesn't have that much armor. It's GG.
And for some reason, my screenshot did not take. So we'll have to.
Oh, look at that.
Well, yeah, screw the screenshot. Okay. Cue the map.
I think what's good to point out here is that both teams brought streaks. Don't you just love that part now? Like, every team is just fielding streaks nowadays. People like to, I mean, they are a low skill weapon. There's very little skill involved in using streaks since it's lock on, you don't have to aim. But what it does offer is guaranteed damage and high damage because you're mounting 5 or 6 streaks on the Stormcrows. And how much alpha is that? I don't have it off the top of my head. But even though it's RNG, a Street Crow is going to kill a light mech in about 3 salvos on average. And on a medium mech, which since it's a 400-ton drop pick, you're basically guaranteed to see a lot of mediums. They don't have that much armor either. Street Crow is still going to strip it rather quickly. It's just high alpha, even though it's RNG. Doesn't necessarily need to be focused, but it's guaranteed damage, and guaranteed damage is...
So taking a look at the map, well, and this is the other thing too I noticed was that they had mixed streak and direct fire, and that typically you're kind of doing half of one thing and half of another. I'm not really a fan of mixing the two. You either go balls deep on streak or you go straight up on direct fire, which I thought at first glance that it was streaks versus pulses, and then I started seeing a mix of stuff. So SJR had a mix of some direct fire, right? So that's maybe why it didn't work, but they overheated as well, I noticed too.
Seraphim had those 2 Wolverines, and Chicken Toothpaste in his Wolverine, he was essentially ignored the entire match. But you really can't ignore those Wolverines at all. It's like ignoring an AC5 Dragon.
Yeah.
It deals tons of DPS, but it's fragile. That's why they're not the best thing in the world. Since you could just take off the right arm and it's like, oh, okay, well, can't do anything without that arm.
Well, and that's it, right? I mean, I know that SJR in the past, and we do this in QQ as well, we run the 3 large with 2 mediums, so you still have the head laser, which keeps you going in the fight, so you have to take it down, or else it just keeps poking away at you with that head laser. So
That's what EMP technically does too. It usually does as well. We have just 1 medium laser, and I think if Seraphim brought those medium lasers, the match probably would have ended earlier, since
Hmm.
he had that stripped Wolverine. He was just being a body block against Gray Fox.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, on the stream right now, it's showing where Gray Fox got caught in the hills, and yeah, there goes the leg burn, and oof, hurts.
Yeah, that he took a hard hit on that leg, and that screwed him.
Yeah,
I think he might have. I don't know if it would have benefited him to keep that second Wolverine alive and just used him as a meat shield, because then at least
yeah,
he could have had a team kill out of that. But
yeah, it definitely could have helped it, but
yeah,
you also have to worry about, at least as my point of view from a light pilot, you just if you run into that thing, you're going to warp. The
yeah,
collision and the detection in MWO is quite poor, and you warp when you touch mechs, and that could take leg. You could take leg damage from that. You could even lose a leg if you somehow glitch into them.
yeah.
It's just a risky situation.
Yeah, so I'm zooming in a little bit here on the map, but all the engagement, we were talking about the different scenarios before the drop, and it was either going up the two line with a standoff over Kappa, but then that gives the other team the advantage to grab Kappa, and the other option was to go to either side of the caldera. By going to either side of the caldera like that, they basically became a standoff, but Seraphim just went right in
Oh, here's the
for Kappa.
score screen. Chicken toothpaste and the Wolverine, one that was ignored, 439 damage.
Wow.
T-Fun, however, in a streak storm bro, did 607. That's what guaranteed damage does. Even though T-Fun died so much earlier in the match compared to chicken toothpaste, it's just the guaranteed damage. You're going to be doing an incredible amount.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that was an exciting drop. And so I guess I got to update the score here because now it's 2-1 and we're going to game 4.
Score is currently 2-1 in favor of SJR.
I got to still get the Seraphim logo. Did you send that to me by any chance?
Yeah.
Okay, just updating score. So our final drop, or sorry, fourth drop, I should say, is a 2-2-2-2. So we're going to have 2 of each chassis. It's going to be on Frozen City Night. What do you think we're going to see here?
Brawl. And with the 2-2-2-2, that's basically your only option on Pro City Night. And both these teams have been heavily brawl focused. Well, minus Seraphim on the River City Night game. But both teams are. I can't see anything besides a brawl on this map.
Yeah, I I think mech wise, we're probably going to see maybe Firestarter A's on this one because of the small pulse for that knife fighting. Although SJR was using S's on the River City Night drop. And then in the mediums, you're for sure you're going to be seeing Storm Crows. But be curious to see if anybody decides to bring Street Crows to deal with the lights, or one Street Crow maybe.
I think one streak would be definitely pretty appropriate
Yeah,
here. But these assaults are essentially guaranteed to be Daishis.
yeah,
SJR does favor stalkers, but I I don't know. Honestly, I haven't seen, even the Stalker does very well in pub games. I've never really seen it perform that well in competitive. It's just you're not really going to be able to hill peak that much in competitive play since you need the armor to do some tanking for your team. I
yeah.
don't know. We'll see what
It's
happens.
the tanking and the high mount. I mean, those 6 large lasers can dish out a lot of pain rapidly, and
Yeah,
that's
that's looking
great
at
for
Dicey
legging.
comparatively.
Yeah, and that's what I think we're going to be seeing is just they're just going to go legs, legs, legs. Personally, I think it'll be uh, pulse lasers on the Storm Crows. I'm just checking to see if Magician's dropped.
They haven't dropped it just as a Pokemon.
Yeah, yeah. I think we're going to see pulse lasers on the Storm Crows. We're probably going to see one Timber, one Hellbringer from SJR because they've been favoring that ECM. Um, I don't think we'll see 2Xs here. What do you think? I don't think it's the map for it. It's too
I
small.
would definitely not. Well, I'm not. I've never been a big fan of Ravens, even back when the 3L was proper. I just never liked the chassis.
Yeah.
But so I might be a bit biased, but I would definitely bring either 1A, 1S, or 2As here
Hmm.
for sure.
Yeah, I know that the QQ lights typically like the small maps for the A's, and they just get right in there. You just got to watch the team damage, of course, because they get so close to your enemies to get that full burn.
Frozen City especially, it's a really light friendly map. Probably one of the best for light mechs actually. Because the hills there,
Hmm.
they're all sizable enough in that you're able to,
Yeah.
if you want, JJ peek over the top of them or use them as cover. They're all just around the right size for
Yeah.
doing that. And the buildings in the lower part of the city are just excellent for light mechs.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do another
So,
double check here.
yeah.
So Magician's in lobby now.
Who knows? We might see 2 streak adders, 2 streak stormcrows, 2 streak mad dogs. Is there a streak clan assault? I don't think there is. Is there a streak assault in general? I don't think so. But so I guess not
Not,
there. But
not really, no. I don't think streaks are gonna come in here.
yeah, definitely not.
I don't think so.
That'd be the most cancer drop deck.
Just imagine you take streaks and then you're up against 2 direwolves and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. It's like, well,
Yeah, yeah. That's just not gonna work. So, well, we've got the map up here. Starting positions. Seraphim is over here on the Sigma side, and Theta is the cap point for this map. So this is the sort of the king of the hill mode. So for those of you who aren't
Kappa's
familiar,
cap one for this one, actually.
yeah.
They changed it. Remember?
Oh, did they
No
change?
longer that it's Kappa. Yeah, it's
That,
PGI changed the designation for some reason.
oh,
It's
it's
Kappa
where
instead.
Theta would be, right, on the map here. It's this location. So the idea here is most of the teams don't even bother dealing with the cap. They just basically go into skirmish, and this just becomes like a fallback plan, really. The whole idea in Run Hard or Die was to introduce a single point midway between the two teams to fight over in order to prevent static gameplay with long range camping. So this definitely encourages more mobility, or at least forces a move mid to late game.
Oh, they're launching now, by the way.
Okay, so here we go.
Really quick on these drops.
Yeah. So we're just seeing the loading screen for Frozen City Night.
Really? My spectator isn't loading for some reason. That's unfortunate.
Maybe it's this the internet speed I have. Possibly.
Oh, there it goes.
Music's queuing. Okay, so Magician's in a Stormcrow. Jaeger's in a Timber. We are seeing 2Xs. Okay, I wasn't going to expect that. 2 Direwolves, 2Xs, 2 Timbers, and 2 Stormcrows. So they chose not to take any ECM this time. Surprise, surprise.
They're definitely looking pure long range here. Oh, I see. Okay, we kind of did this. We did this SJR in our RHoD match versus them on this map. They're going to be taking basically the rear of Theta, the rear of the cap point, and just sitting there.
Yeah. Now on the
It's
Seraphim
actually-
side, I just want to comment on the mechs they're taking. They are taking Firestarter 9Ss. We see the return of a Wolverine 6K and a Stormcrow D. That could be a Streak Crow. That could be for anti-light. Not going to really work here if those 2Xs stay far away, and then they're running 2 Dire Wolves. So definitely the same beef. And yeah, the SJR has gone way out to
this
Theta
position-
perimeter.
We did this SJR in our match, and it's essentially unapproachable.
Yeah, like what do you do, right?
Yeah, you can't really do much here. Those dice will tear you up as you try to approach. You're done.
So I'm just gonna kind of stay with the aerial view until the engagement starts. So the Raven 2Xers are staying pretty close to the cap point. I don't know if they grabbed it or not. It doesn't look like they did because it didn't change color. It's still green. So maybe they're doing that to not signal where they are.
Yeah, that's
my
there's
guess.
really no point in grabbing it since they try to check it.
Yeah.
You know, one of the Seraphim guys try to check it, looks over the hill, and you get 91 alpha by Daichi in the face.
And I think the lights are the Seraphim lights are looking for them right now. They're not really sure where they are.
They should spot them out in about a few seconds here. One just needs
Well,
to
they are
do
moving
like-
towards, so I'm gonna go into first person shortly, but they must see them by now. Let me just let's see. Choked.
EL just spotted them all.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's see the
Oh, and
perspective from Seraphim's perspective here. So they're backing up. So they saw them, and they're probably trying to figure out what to do.
I guess this is where MWO becomes a thinking man's shooter because you have to think on how to approach this.
Yeah. So we were just talking about standoffs, right? This is
Yeah.
this is one way to force a standoff while still having a cap point.
Thing is, since SJR brought Raven 2Xs, they don't have fire starters to apply any pressure here, so it's going to be a bit difficult to get Seraphim to move in a direction they want. Really, what could happen is that Seraphim just draws this out. Depending, I mean, SJR, it'll be somewhat difficult to push from the position that they're in. It's really reliant on Seraphim pushing into them.
I don't really see how. Okay, here now the trading is happening. And I'm just going to do a high aerial view. Actually, let's do this kind of view. There we go.
Trading from this area will be a bit difficult for Seraphim. They won't be able to get as many guns on target compared to how SJR is.
No. Can we want to report on the percentages? I see Magician's at 85. Carnage has taken a lot of hits. He's down to 50%. So,
yeah,
Carnage.
Excellent trades
Oh.
in here, actually.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Yeah,
this
Carnage
is
just
actually
went down.
present. That's
Okay, now it's time to go into first
unexpected.
person. There's some interesting things happening here now. We've got
Ariox just pushed out heavily. He's gonna die here.
one dead apiece. Let's see what's Magician's perspective.
Heat level
Yeah,
critical.
RX is gone. Yeah, he just went down. Arox.
Well, 1 for 1 there, but
Yeah.
Daishi is definitely more valuable than Timberwolf. So how that goes.
Oh, and Wonka's
Also critical
Wonka's ripping
damage.
into some stuff
Left
here.
arm critical damage.
Percentages wise, we got 2 dead on SGR, 3 dead on
Torso
Seraphim.
destroyed.
Um,
Just like a
Destroyed.
whole alpha.
Center torso.
Yeah. And Magician goes down by one of the fire starters. So the fire starters are getting into the mix now.
Yeah, Fire Starters just routed SJR.
The 6Ks are running large pulses this time, so they were gearing up for a short range fight.
New target
Yeah.
acquired. Target
Yeah, SJR.
destroyed.
New
New
definitely looking
target
like a loss on
acquired.
their side.
4 to 4. It's tight.
Left torso critical
Yeah, but
damage.
Chicken Toothpaste is still up in the Daishi.
New target
He lost one
acquired.
side, but half of firepower from
Yeah.
Daishi still
New
outclassed.
target acquired.
Oh, and there goes the arm on the Wolverine. So that's it. We were talking about that backup laser. Oh, now it's swinging now.
Acquired.
3 to 2.
EL is still 80% though in the Firestarter 9S. He could 1v1 Jaeger
Heat
at this
level
point. And
critical.
should be a cleanup.
One of the 9S's just got legged. But if he can catch legal department's left shoulder, then he'll go down. Legal department's going to deny him that.
Jaeger's taking it pretty well here.
New target
Firestarter.
acquired.
Surprisingly
Heat
well.
level
Let's see
critical.
what's happening in 20th Prime.
Center torso
Legally to
critical
take out this
damage.
Firestarter until he's fine.
Let's see what's legal doing. Oh,
Target
there he is.
Target acquired.
Yeah, he's doing a pretty
Yeah, he's
good job in that
24%.
Raven.
I'm not sure.
Ace of Spades is in good shape, actually. His leg just opened up, but there's 2. It's the Wolverine running into distraction, and oh, Ace of Spades lost his leg, but they did get the other guy. So now it's legal department against Ace of Spades, who's legged. I just don't see how this is going to happen.
New target acquired.
Yeah, that Raven will be able to clean up the Firestarter.
No.
He got leg.
No, he's just going to sit
New
outside
target
of
acquired.
his medium pulse range. Effectively, he could just go a little further, just to
Yeah,
play
yeah.
it safe. But that's it. Yeah, there's the right leg.
EL took a little bit too
Target
long. to deal with.
destroyed.
There goes the,
New target
Alright, that's game.
acquired.
That Wolverine
There's
has no
yeah,
weapons left,
that's
so
GG. That head laser, put it in next time, guys.
Please.
Put that head laser in.
Ah.
It's 2 Wolverines now that could have turned the tide.
I'm not really sure what happened there with the Firestarter fighting Jaeger. That should have been a clean kill, but it took too long. Took too much. The Firestarter took too much leg damage during that, and cost him the game.
Yeah, we'll catch the restream and see if that's
Target destroyed.
maybe he stood still too long and got caught.
I think a lot of it was. I'm pretty sure Jaeger's center torso was open there. I think it was him with the first person viewpoint on him, but he was hitting his right torso. The Firestarter was hitting Jaeger's right torso, which I'm pretty sure still had armor too. So if you're not hitting the CT. It's like, well, cares how damaged you are in other places, you know?
I'm just looking at these numbers. I mean, you know, definitely the output was better on the SJR side. He had two 500 plus coming out of Jaeger 12 and legal department, and on the Seraphim side, he had two guys in the mid 400s, three guys in the 300s. Just not quite enough damage output. Those fire starters, 443 damage, and what was the other fire starter? Just unfortunately doesn't show the whole list.
I know one was EL. I don't remember the name.
EL is one, and I forget. I didn't catch who the other one was. But yeah, 443 damage out of EL versus the Ravens. That was tweaking, doing the 321 in legal department, doing 565 with 4 kills. Wow.
Yeah, legal definitely carried that guy.
Thought it wasn't going to be the right map for 2Xs, but there we go.
Oh, really, it's not. It's I think SJR had the better positioning here. I'm not really sure what happened in that they were losing the trades. Because for all intents and purposes, Seraphim did not have the right position to really trade effectively compared to the firing line SJR had set up. Not sure what happened.
So we're Frozen City, Conquest mode.
Just watching the stream again, SJR had 2 Daishi set up on the left side to counter Seraphim's trading position. And they had all the Timberwolves and Stormcrows there too. I guess Seraphim was just the better shots this game. But, I mean, in the end, they still lost, but that they were able to route that position just is pretty incredible.
That was really, really close. I'm just going to full screen
Carnage
this.
has taken a lot of hits. He's down to 50%.
Oops. So yeah, I'm just redisplaying the window from the stream just so we can recap real quick where that Firestarter took his big hit, because he was in good shape, and all of a sudden the leg was almost ripped off.
Yeah, he was just taking a lot of chip damage from Jaeger. Jaeger and him were fighting for what felt like a minute at least. And you're going, if you take that long to kill a Timberwolf, you're going to be taking so much damage as a light mag.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't try to get around him and either just keep him turning or stay away from the torso weapons at the very least. There's that Wolverine that we're seeing there. I mean, you know, you get that arm gone, bam. Like, he didn't turn away. He was taking those hits head on without pulling away.
That Seraphim was even able to route this position, though, is really good by them.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, the execution at the end was just a bit iffy, but in the beginning it was really good by them.
Yeah, it started off going really well. I think they were actually up 1 at one point.
Yeah. Oh, there goes the arm on the Wolverine. Legal is just doing work here.
Yeah, and he was in brawling distance too. I mean, you know, he legged that guy, and then he went, "Okay, I'm out of here. My shoulder's open. let me finish him off."
Open left torso too.
Yeah.
That no one finished him. Because that's an XL.
Yeah.
That no one finished him is a major mistake. That leg Firestarter should have dealt with him early on, but.
See, and I still didn't see where that leg Firestarter came in. I wish I had switched over to his perspective.
Well, you can.
I think that was him there.
Yeah.
I just want to see that turning point, because that really, like, so look at his status there. He takes some large and medium.
He's not jump jet turning.
He's not jump jet turning. Okay.
One of the most important things for light mechs is to jump jet turn. It increases your return rate so much, and that's the only way. Like, you won't be able to out-rotate a Timberwolf anyway because they go stupidly fast, but you'll be able to make it hard for them to hit you with their torso weapons. And since he wasn't doing that, he was just, you know, holding A down, holding D down, turn left or right. Your turn rate's just so much lower, you can't. There's no way.
You know what would have been interesting if the Wolverine just charged at him and ran into his side torso. I wonder if that would have been enough to kill him.
Possibly.
That would have been interesting.
Or if it had JJ's do Maverick's whole DFA thing. DFA.
Oh, Maverick. And there it is. It's over. So.
Oh, if this Wolverine had those, just that.
If he had the head laser, yeah.
It's just the head laser's so important. Who cares about one heatsink? You just need the one medium laser.
One medium laser, 1 ton difference right there. But alas, it wasn't Wasn't meant to be.
Well, I think we can guarantee that Seraphim will definitely be bringing those head lasers next time.
I think so. I think that's a hard lesson to learn. I know they wanted that extra heat sink for heat efficiency, especially running large pulse. I would have stuck with the large lasers and run with a full quirk, personally. I mean, you don't want to get so close that that arm gets ripped off so easily, anyhow. So I think the three large, two medium is a good way to go, especially on a cold map like that.
Definitely. You know, I haven't done the math, but I'm pretty sure 3 large lasers with the new quirks is pretty close to the output of the old 3 LPL build. Pretty
Yeah.
close. So I feel like 2 large lasers, 1 LPL wouldn't beat it out math. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't done the math.
And
Maybe they have.
the whole point of taking the LPLs is so that you're not exposing that arm with that longer burn time of the large laser, but yet the Wolverine was pointing straight ahead and just waiting for his weapons to cycle rather than turning away and shielding the arm.
Yeah.
So I think
That
he
was
could have
definitely
got more
a very
damage.
close game.
Yeah.
Very, very close. And, yeah.
So and there we have it. I got to change the score. It's a 3-1 win for SJR, but a really, really good fight in that last drop on Frozen City, coming down to basically one Raven 2X and a Firestarter S with 5 medium pulses.
I just want to reiterate again that Seraphim was able to route that position even though they lost. They were able to route that position and get as much damage on SJR as they did. That's really commendable and really good by them.
And I still never got that Seraphim logo on the screen.
Send it to him. Next time we'll have it.
Next time, yeah. It's blank. Sorry. I can always stick in something in here right now. Okay, so any last words here before we sign off for the evening?
Well, we haven't talked about team history at all.
Yes,
SJR
that's true.
definitely is a much older team than Seraphim. They've been around since the beginning of the game. So they were before they existed before MechWarrior Online was a thing. Seraphim has actually they've made a name for themselves in the comp scene as of late. I'm not. I mean, you can't really call them a newer team at this point, but they're definitely one of those up and comers that is at this. I mean, SJR is one of the top teams in the game. But they're able to get drops this close versus SJR is amazing. It's great, and it's just really showing how some people say the scene is incredibly static. Well, not really. You have teams like Seraphim, Rising Storm, who haven't existed for years. They've done a lot of comp play, but a lot of it's been recent. And they're trading blows in like this match, just very close blows with one of the top teams in the game.
Yeah. Well, and they have a really large unit, Seraphim. A lot of casuals within the Seraphim group. It's very reminiscent of some of the house teams. If you think of like Team 007 emerging from RHoD, for example, and it's amazing to see Seraphim. I mean, we've run into a lot of the casual side of Seraphim, so when you start to see their name pop up in the competitive scenes, there's a lot of that underdog factor coming in where people don't really know about them. They may not take them very seriously, and then they come out swinging with some big surprises in taking drops off of SJR, and I think they took a drop off of EMP in MRBC as well, right? So
yeah, our first match versus them, we went 4-1.
Yeah.
But they took a drop off of us. I think it was on Birdie and Bog, but they took it.
Yeah, and that map's a shit show.
Yeah,
It
Birdie
really
and Bog.
is.
Oh, I got caught on a rock in a battle mech. That makes sense.
Yeah. It's just like, I mean, it's really tough. It's the visuals are hard. Terrain is punishing for certain mechs, and
it's unbalanced. Like one side is so heavily favored. That side with the hill in the middle. It's like okay.
Yeah.
Why does one side get stairs and the other not? But all right.
Yeah.
Ignoring PGI's map design.
Well, we'll see. They might make some tweaks to that one, but or even just changing the starting positions might even make a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen that happen, right? With the other maps, we've seen starting positions change up ever so slightly to try to balance out the map a bit more.
Oh, I'm just seeing the stream repeat. That head laser. You just had the head laser, man.
I know. I know. Yeah.
Oh well. I'm definitely interested in seeing how Seraphim will perform in the rest of this Run Higher Die season. I think there's a lot of lessons like getting a head laser that they can learn from this match. So,
Yeah.
We'll see how the final results end up being.
Yeah, exactly. So, what do we have coming up next? I'm just gonna pull up the other matches in Run Hard or Die.
Well, EMP is fighting 228th Wednesday, I believe. I think that's being shoutcast. I don't know by who. I'm pretty sure it's being shoutcast. I think Magician's doing it. And
QQ is fighting the Dragons of Morgoth, which is essentially the rebirth of the old CSJ guys. Some of the old CSJ guys and some new blood as well. So QQ will be fighting them on Thursday, I believe, Thursday night, which unfortunately I won't be there for that one, but I wish our team the best. What else do we have? We have Restless Adder and Clan Kodiak. Clan Kodiak having recently broken off from the community warfare team of Mercstar Alliance and reclaiming their name and getting back into the comp scene. So we'll see the return of them. That's the group that was started by Han Solo and some other old guys who broke off from old former BSK and then going back to Templars. A lot of history, a lot of teams changing, rebranding, breaking up, reforming. So there's lots of action. It shows that there's some interest in the game again. People are coming back in.
We also have APOC Lancer versus the Eastern Grim.
Yeah.
APOC Lancer has been participating in competitive play for a very long time. I think they were in RHoD Season 2 even. That was like 2 years ago.
They've been around a long time. And if you actually look at the history of drops, APOC, I think, is in the top 5 for number of drops done in competitive scene.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I think they're up there. I mean, it's SJR, 228 Swords. QQ's done a lot of drops, and I think it rounds out with APOC in 5th, maybe 6th now. But they've got a lot of old school players. I think their team has just changed a lot over the years, or the last 2 years of competitive play.
Yeah. Then we also have the Eastern Grim, which is a new unit to the comp scene. But I know they've been putting a lot of work in and examining match histories from other teams.
Yeah.
And match bots and all that. So I'm definitely interested in seeing how they'll progress and grow as a team as the season goes on.
Yeah, it's always good to see some new blood. They're known for their play in the FRR faction in CW. So when QQ had taken contracts under FRR, we fought alongside the Isengrim quite often. So they're good guys, really, really good guys, and hopefully we'll see them emerge as a long-standing competitive team as well.
Yep. All right, well, that was Run Hard or Die Week 3, Season 6. Seraphim Rising Storm versus Steel Jaguar.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a good night. Thank you, Addy.
All right, that worked out pretty